Hi, all. Happy Friday. Happy Black Friday. I hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving. I'm going to kind of run through this pretty quickly because I got a kitchen to clean up and it's going to be a chore. Let's just say, I know I talked about experimenting in the kitchen, and some of my experiments went a little bit haywire, but they turned out tasty enough. So I hope your Thanksgiving was good. I hope it was full of love and joy and all the things that it's supposed to be, and all the ways that it's supposed to remind you of all the wonderful things that you do have in your life. Even if your life is not perfect, nobody's is. Nobody's is perfect, believe me. On that note, let's get started. This is Mindset Mastery, Affirmation Tarot, and we are starting with the Mindset Mastery card, as usual. So, and let's see. Oh, accountability. I hold myself accountable for my time and priorities. I eliminate all excuses and focus only on what truly matters, ensuring that I always have enough time to pursue what's important to me. Again, that kind of goes with all the theme of the last couple of weeks. The theme of growth mindset and, growing your ambitions, your creativity, and just focusing on enriching your life. So, and on the back of it, it says, do you find yourself using lack of time or being too busy as an excuse for procrastination or avoiding tasks? I do that sometimes, probably way too often. Take a moment to reflect on your daily activities and assess whether time constraints are genuinely holding you back. Ask yourself whether you have any limiting beliefs that could be preventing you from taking action. Beliefs about yourself, most importantly. Be honest about your priorities and recommit to completing your most important tasks first thing every day. Remember, there's always enough time for what you consider significant. And that is true. If it's important enough to you, you make time for it. So if what you had thought was your goal turns out that it's really not your goal, that's okay. You don't have to push through on it. You don't have to complete anything that you really don't feel drawn to or that you don't feel passionate about. Now, that is not saying that you don't have to go to work, because you do have to go to work. If you are lucky enough and fortunate enough to have a job and, go to your job, do your job. It may not be your primary passion, but that's what side hustles are for, and that's how you build a side hustle into your eventual main hustle, is by focusing on that passion in the time that you have for yourself, for your joy, for your bliss, for your fulfillment. So make sure that you focus on doing that. Don't let minuscule details and that self-doubt that, oh, this isn't going to work, this is never going to work for me, nothing ever works out for me. You know what? I got enough of that for all of us. So don't worry about it. Don't fall into that belief system. It's really, really hard to not fall into it, but tether yourself somehow, some way, emotionally, psychologically, not to any particular outcome. That's one of the hardest things to learn about paying your energy into your passion. We get so drawn into the idea of the outcome, the success, the riches, excess. But if you really love what it is, then the passion is in the doing. And I don't know if the success will come. Everybody always says, do what you love, the money will come. Yeah, how many of us have been really, really grateful that we didn't wind up doing that and instead got jobs that actually put, money in the bank and bread on the table and a roof over our heads, even if it wasn't necessarily the passion that drove us. but we still were able to build that passion and garner and grow that passion by pursuing as a secondary means. So it's fulfilling. It is still passion, but let yourself do it. Just don't be attached to the outcome. Just know that you've done it, you're doing it, it makes you happy, and quite frankly, F anyone else. If it doesn't make other people happy, screw them. Seriously, it's that simple. If other people don't want what you've got or what you're doing, if they don't care about it, then screw them. They're not the people that you need. And also, most importantly, even more importantly than that, sometimes it pays to pursue your passion quietly, on your own, in seclusion, in solitude, in serenity. You don't need anyone else to know what your passion is. You don't need anyone else to approve of what makes you happy. Just do it for yourself. And if results are going to happen, then the universe will make sure that they happen. I ain't saying God, I ain't saying nothing, I'm saying the universe. Something, serendipity. If it's supposed to bring you recognition and accolades, somehow, it's going to happen. And if not, that's okay too, as long as it fills your heart. So, all right. On that note, let's move on to the next one, because I said I was going to try and make this one short. I lied. Ooh, I lied like a rug. Yep. Okay. God, my roots are getting so gray. I waited all my life to turn gray, and now it feels like it's happening overnight. Oh, good Lord. That's okay. Like my wrinkles, I earned every single one of them. And I'm proud of them. Proud of my grays. All right, so we're on to the rethinks. Here we go. Our first rethink is abundance. Oh, here we go. Abundance. And it's got a little wheat stalk there. I am abundant in all areas of my life. I trust that the universe will provide for me and that all my needs will be met. I am grateful for the abundance that flows to me. Yeah, I need to remember this one more myself. I tend to let my ego get involved with a lot of things, but yeah, that's why every morning, 5 things every morning that I am grateful for to keep me humble. Simple things. The fact that I can breathe without struggling for a breath. The fact that I have feet that I can walk on. The fact that I have a job that I really enjoy, that I go to, that pays, and that I am so grateful that I do have that job, that I was given the opportunity, that I earned the opportunity. And, you know, I'm grateful for my fur baby. I'm grateful for my dog. I'm grateful for my home. I'm grateful for the trials and tribulations that have brought me to this point. So that helps keep me humble, because otherwise my head would get so big I would get stuck in that door. Seriously. Go back to, what was it, Nickelodeon, SpongeBob getting stuck in the door at the beginning of SpongeBob's days. Whoa. All that ego? Yeah, that would be me. But I do pay attention to the abundance in my life, and I am grateful for every single bit of it. Success mindset. There it is. Okay. Success mindset. I wholeheartedly embrace a mindset of success, firmly believing in my innate capacity to attain my aspirations. With unwavering determination, I acknowledge my capabilities and worthiness of triumph in every facet of life. I am poised to achieve greatness and to flourish abundantly. Now, this is a great way to start December. Start a new month. So remember, look at all the ways that you have succeeded in order to get where you're at. In spite of the trials, in spite of the roadblocks, in spite of all the problems and the headaches and the heartaches that have brought you to where you're at, you have survived all of that. So you are a walking, talking, living, breathing success story in and of yourself. You just need to be reminded of that. We all do sometimes. So, you know, I have always loved writing, telling stories, and I had a goal to write books. I wanted to be an author who wrote books that people love. So one of the ways that I started that was I was actually reading a book when I was maybe about 10 or 11 or something like that. And I'm forcing my way through this thing and I'm thinking, this book sucks. How did this get published? It is horrible. And I mean, it really was. It was just nasty. So I sat down and I started writing a story. I says, I bet I can write something better than that. And it's funny because somewhere along the way, someone had told me after reading something that I wrote, one of my teachers, as a matter of fact, had said, nobody's ever going to want to read something like that from a girl. Well, first off, don't pick on my gender. She's a girl too, so I'm guessing later in life it dawned on me that she probably had been told something very similar, and that she probably had a lot of disappointment in her life. But it didn't stop me. It did for a little while. I wrote a trilogy. I wrote my Freedom Fighter trilogy. And I was about halfway through the second book when I couldn't get anybody to even look at the first book. And I just said, you know what? Screw this. Nobody's ever going to want to read this. She was right. And I quit writing. I forced myself to stop doing something that I loved, and it almost killed me. The depression that came along, the despair, the heartache, the emotional bereftness of my life was devastating until one day I was critiquing something that somebody else had written, and I says, well, have you ever thought about doing it like this or like this? Because you've got a great, storyline going here. You've got this. You've got all these wonderful things. Have you ever thought about tying it in like this? Or just, whatever information I was kind of suggestions I was offering. Because they were asking for critique. And another friend had said to me, have you ever thought about writing a story? Because these are great suggestions that you have. And I'm like, oh, if you only knew. If you only knew. So we got into a conversation. I told her, no, I'm not, no, and that I loved writing and that I gave it up, and it's, because nobody cares and blah, blah, blah. And oh, woe is me, woe is me, woe is my life. Nobody likes my work. It was crazy, But eventually I did start writing again. And so I said I was in the middle of my second book about that time. So 10 and a half books later, actually 11 and a half books later, I now have 13 books. Yes, they are self-published. But, my Heroes of the Line series, which is my dark fantasy series, is actually getting reviewed by Kirkus Reviews. And Kirkus is one of the biggest and most prominent for over 90 years sources of critique for books, indie books, or, trad publishing books. And it came about that I was actually able to get the 5 books each reviewed. Now 2 more are due. Let's see, the first, the second, and the 5th have been reviewed. The 3rd and 4th are going to be reviewed in December and February of 2026, respectively. And so far as yet, the 3 that have been reviewed have received, get this, suggestions. And the other two, I hope they achieve the same thing. I hope they do. They all roll into one another, and it's kind of gritty stuff. Like I said, it's dark fantasy. It's kind of an urban, a mix of sci-fi fantasy, but it's very urbanized. It's very contemporary, and yet very steeped in mythology, physics, and just ancient, wonderful stuff. And so anyway, I'm really proud of that. But whatever happens, happens. And I think as far as I can tell right now, I don't know if I have any more books in me. I'm moving forward onto other things. I just hope that the reviews come out good, and that I can say the books are out there for the people who need them, and they'll be found at the right time for the right people. So that being said, excuse me, that once I got back to writing, that was my success mindset. That was where I had to go to. And now I'm moving on to other things. Now I'm investing my time in growing my intuitive coaching business, and in growing my hypnotherapy business, and in growing my subliminal audios. But all along the way, I have been fortunate enough to be able to pick up the skills to do these things. So that's where we're at, and that's where going back to Monday's reading was about, was to getting the skills and being grateful for the skills and all these things. So sorry about the bantering on. I apologize for that. I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Sit back, relax. I think that I don't know if there's a lot of people out there right now, because I'm not paying attention to the news, but I know that there's been the TikToks and the shorts and all the blue skies and the Twitters, the blackout boycott from Black Friday, from today through to December 2nd. No purchasing anything. So we'll see what happens, but I'm not going to worry about it. I'm glad and grateful that you were here. I hope you had a great Thanksgiving, and if not, that you did at least find something to give yourself some solace. Thank you for being here, and we will see you on Monday, hopefully. So thank you, and stay well, stay safe, and remember to appreciate yourself, appreciate all the things that are good about you, that you have, that are good in your life, and all the goodness that you bring to other people. So talk to you soon. Thanks.